Bilikis and you're welcome to my channel. How are you guys doing? Hope you're good, just like I am. So today we'll be making a tutorial on how to make an abaya like what I have on. It is so easy to make. An abaya is just a free garment you can wear like mine is, open slits. You could decide to have your own clothes. Like mine is fitted, as you can see it is fitted. Yours could be very loose because abaya is something that is very loose. You can see even the sleeves is so loose. And you can also decide to have a different neckline. You can decide to have a round neck like mine or even a v-neck. If you're having a v-neck, it will be something like this. Maybe I could decide to do a v-neck. And a slit open, the reason why I like it is that you could show off what you have inside. So by the time you walk, it just show up. So, and also you could use a hook. You could just use a hook to hook it up here or even here. So anytime you could use the Hebuka's hook, which is trending now. You could use a fanciful rope, a brooch, anyhow you like it, and you can rock your abaya anywhere. So right now we'll go over to our work table and I'll show you how to fold your fabric and some explanations. Before I forget guys, do not forget to join us on Facebook Sewing Innovations. As you can see here, this is the spelling because a lot of people told me they couldn't get the spelling right. So this is Sewing Innovation. It's a closed group where we put up illustration on some outfits, and it's a lovely group. I bet you will enjoy every bit of it if you join us there. We have over 150,000 members there, so try to join us. And in case you still find it difficult to get me, you can search for my Facebook name, Bilikis Erele. You can send a friend request and I will add you up. And on IG, you can just search for Bilikis Signature and you can also get me there. Right now, let's go over to our work table. I will be using this fabric for my abaya. Can you see this? Like here, we have a lot of abaya materials, lovely ones. So you can use any type of material to make your abaya. Just make sure it's silky, lovely, and you can just use any type of material anyway. So I will be using this type of material. And it's usually 1.5 meters, so it's very long. So this pattern part will be below. And you can also use this part to make your sleeve. Like the one I'm putting on, I just had to take some from the lower part to add to this. This was all black and then I just added to the tape. But with this type of pattern you have, so make sure you measure from below. I will show you on the floor because the material is always moving around. I will show you on the floor. This will be at the lower part and we can also use this part for her sleeve. And in case you have your basic bodice pattern, it makes things easy, especially when you are cutting or shaking materials or a slippery material. So all you have to do is to place it on it, but make sure your neck width and your neck depth is 3 by 3 inches by 3 inches. So you place it on it and just add some inches to the bust, the waist and the hip, then you extend it down. And I will show you on the floor right now how to do that. Right now, this is my fabric. You can see the pattern part is below. So I will start measuring from here because the material is so long. I want a length of 65, including my seam allowance, because I want it to be a floor length, really flowing, so that when I'm on heels, it will still be okay and flowing. So I'll start measuring from here, then I will mark my baseline. I have folded. How do you know the quantity of material to fold? Just take the largest part of your circumference, which is my hip, and then divide it by 4 and then add 10 inches to it. You can decide to have more because abaya is really big. But the minimum you could add to that is 6 inches. So how would just mean mine is 11, but I'll just add 10 to it. So I have 22 inches here. So which is 21. When I added 10 inches, it gave me 21, then plus 1 inch seam allowance, so I have 22. So you fold your fabric that way. Then I want a length of 65. Then now I will take my measuring tape and start from here. So for this very one, I have 64, which is okay. Like the one I'm putting on was so long. So I did a 65, but this is 64, which is Okay. That means my baseline will start from the upper part. Just draw a straight line. So in case you are using your basic bodice pattern, all you have to do is to place it this way. And then add some inches. Note the bust, the waist, the hip, and then add like 2 or 3 inches to it, depending on how wide you want it to be, and then extend from the hip down to the end of the fabric. But because of the people that really don't have their basic bodice pattern, I'll just explain. But you can watch my video on how to make a basic bodice pattern. Then I will start right now with half of my armhole. Usually half of my armhole is 8.5, but here I'll be using 9 inches because it's a wide garment. Then the next thing will be the waist. After that, my waist, which is 16 inches. Then I'll go to my hip, which is 24 inches. And then the length of the garment. Then I will make this into a straight line. The next thing is to insert the 3 inches, 8 inches standard. Please, you need to watch my basic bodice pattern if you do not understand these parameters. Then note, for the front pattern, I won't add any extra allowances to the folded part because it is open. So I will just leave it like that. But if you want to have like a button or hook, then you could add extra 1 inch. So you draw a 1 inch line before starting your measurement. But I just want it to be open, and since it's also a wide garment, so there's no need to add extra inches to the folded area. Then the next thing is that we'll just come down by half an inch. Since it's a wide garment, there's no need for me coming down by 1 inch, so I will just join it. You could decide to do 1 inch also, depending on what you want. It doesn't make any difference. Then the next thing now is to insert my shoulder measurement. My shoulder measurement is 8.5, but for this I will make it 9 inches because it's a wide garment. 9 inches. Then I will come here to measure 9 inches and then join. Then I will get half of it from the slope. Half of it is here. I will come in by 3/4 inch, which is here, and then join with my armhole. So now the armhole is formed. So to the neck area, if you want a round neck, just maintain these 3 inches, and then for the depth, you do 3 inches. But I've decided to do a V-neck, so I'll just make it 7 inches, which is here. Then I'll use my armhole curve to connect it. So the V-neck is formed. Now we will insert our horizontal measurement. So 1/4 of my bust. Your bust circumference, you divide it into 4. So mine is 11 inches. But since I'm making an abaya, I will add extra 1 inch to it to make it free. So that will make it 12, which is here. And then I will add extra 1 inch seam allowance to this. Then the next thing, I will go to my waist. 1/4 of my waist is 9 inches. I will add extra 1 inch to it, which is here, and then extra 1 inch for seam allowance. Abaya, you can add as much his to it. Like I added just 1 inch. You can make yours 2, even 3, because it's a wide garment. Then I go to my hip. 1/4 of my hip is 11, so plus 1 inch, I'll make it 12, which is here, and then extra 1 inch for seam allowance. Then you can connect this. Then I will use my hip curve to connect this part, or better still just use your ruler to do that. So I'm connecting it with the hip curve. The tools are still very much available. In case you need your own set of tools, just get in touch with me. The tools make things really easy. Can you see that? And in case you can't neglect your waist, if you want it to be so wide, for instance, if you are making for a pregnant woman, just ignore the waist and then use your ruler from this bust point to connect to your hip and then straight down. The next thing is to take my T-square and then connect to the edge of my garment. Can you see that? It's so long, so I will do it this way and then finish it up with my ruler. Try to be careful when you are working with these materials. So this is the seam allowance. We'll connect that too. This will make it easy for you when you are sewing. So you just sew on the line. So now you can see the abaya is formed. Make sure you pin yours down. And then for the back, you just come down for the neck because I will be drafting it together. Then I will cut out the back first. So for the slope, I will do the same thing for both back and front. And do not forget to add half-inch seam allowance to the shoulder area. If you've been following my tutorials, you will be familiar with all this and you would have known all this. So this is the half-inch for the seam allowance. Now connect with my ruler. So for the back neck, I will just come down by 1 inch. This is it. This is for the front neck. So this is the back neck, and then I will connect with my armhole curve. So this is the front V-neck and this is the back. So right now what we'll do is to cut it out first. I will just show you the essence of your basic bodice pattern. All this stress we have gone through, if you have your basic bodice pattern, it will save you all the stress we have gone through. All you have to do is to place it this way. Can you see that? Can you see? And then you extend it. You add the seam allowances to it. Just trace it out. After doing it, then extend. Can you see that was so easy? And it would have saved us the stress of going through all this. So right now I will cut out the fabric. Can you see the shape is formed already? And then I would also insert my back armhole because I want to use this as a pattern for the back. For the back, just this midpoint, just connect it to the edge here. So it will save us the stress of drafting the back all over again. You see that? So we'll cut out the back first. And also the back neck. So the next thing now is to fold my fabric the same way I folded this, and then place this on it. Also, you could add some alteration to it. Instead of making your abaya so wide like this, you could make it straight. So it will just be something like this. But I like mine just like what I have on. So right now I'll place on the back panel. Right now I've placed the front panel we just finished cutting out on the remaining fabric. Then I will make sure you pin yours down. Everything must match at the fold. Remember, the minimum you should do here is have 6 inches, but you could make it straight. Just add like 2 inches to the quarter of your hip measurement, and that's it. Just place your basic bodice pattern on your fabric. That's just the easiest way to cut this out. But I just did this for those who have not done that. Can you see that? So right now we're cutting the back panel. So now we will remove the back and then continue the front. So this is the back. Let me just show you so fast. So this is the back. Can you see it? Can you see the pattern is at the lower part and it's so beautiful. Can you see that? So right now let us finish the front panel. The next thing now is to finish up the front pattern. Remember, we cut out the back neck first. So right now I will cut the front armhole. So the front armhole is done. Then I will go over to the neck. So the front neck is done. Then I will open up this middle. Right now I'm cutting the front part because it will be open. Be careful when you are doing this so that the fabric does not shoot. So now I'll open it up and show you how the front panel looks like. This is what the front panel looks like. Can you see that? So this is what it looks like. So now what you have to do is, after joining, you should just finish up this edge. You could cut out a long stripe. What I will do is that I'll cut out a very long stripe that will be able to go through all these slits, including the back neck, and then I will of like 1.5 inches, and then finish it up here. I will use the long strip to finish up these edges, so it will overlap. Can you see that? Or you could just finish it up this way. Since it's a front slit abaya, just finish it up, and then that is all. So right now I'll show you how to cut the sleeves. Right now we'll be cutting the sleeve for the abaya. I already made a detailed tutorial on how to cut a long sleeve, and I explained in details how to cut your abaya also. Like the measurement here is the half of the armhole we used, which was 9 inches for me. So that was what I used here. So I will put the link in the description box below on how to make a long sleeve. I explained in details how to make that of abaya. So right now I'll be placing this on my remaining fabric. This is the remaining fabric I have left. So you can decide to do any style with your fabric. Like now, like the one I have on, the black is more, and then I just cut out this lower parts to place on the edge of the sleeve. So, or you can simply place your sleeve, that is starting from the upper part, and let little of this show. So that means you will be placing it somehow like this. So little of this will be showing at the end of your sleeve. But I will do mine this way. looking at this, the color is more here. So I will be using this place for the upper part of my sleeve, and then it ends here. So I will still have some of this design on my sleeve. So I will show you that now. So I will turn it this way. Can you see that? So this will be the edge of my sleeve this way, and this will be the lower part. So when placing this, or better still, just fold your fabric to make it easier. Or you can either just open it up and place your sleeve this way. So you can just open it up like this and then place the sleeve, just pin it down and trace it out with your chalk, and then you had your 1 inch seam allowance all through. Or better still, you can fold your fabric this way, then place the sleeve this way, cut it out and add seam allowance, then open it up to trim the front pattern. But to make it easier, I will just place it this way. Can you see that? And I'll be cutting out 2 of this. Can you see? So just pin it down and then we will trace with our chalk. So right now I've traced out my pattern. So I need to add 1 inch seam allowance here and here. So I will just note the edge here and here. Then I can remove my pattern paper. Can you see? I've done that. So from this edge, I'll just take my measuring tape and add 1 inch here. So this is the 1 inch, and also here 1 inch. On the lower part here, 1 inch, and also here 1 inch. So I will be cutting the 2 together, the 2 sleeves. Make sure the right sides are facing each other when placing it. When you are cutting it out, better still cut one, then cut the other one. Then I will use my pan curve to finish it up. So that's the seam allowance. Then I will place it this way too. And then finish it up. So now the seam allowance has been added up, then I will cut it out. And do not forget to add at the lower part. The lower part I will add like 3 or 4 inches, because when I fold it over, I want it to be so wide. I want the seam allowance to be so wide. So I will add like 3 inches to the lower part too, or 4. Let me just make it 4. So now I will cut it out. Here. This is what the sleeve look like after cutting it out. So can you see right sides facing each other? Do not make that mistake. And let me show you how it looks. So this is how it will look. Can you see? Can you see that? Then this will be the seam allowance. Can you see the line? So we'll be folding like this, taking this in, and then you have it like this. So I'll try to make a video on how to sew the abaya. Do not forget to subscribe and like my video. Thank you.